Now, as tariffs of 30% go into effect on South African goods being imported into the United States, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has spoken to US President Donald Trump on the phone. They discussed bilateral trade and said their countries' negotiating teams will have more detailed talks. This is according to Mr. Ramaphosa's office. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
Well, despite trying for months to negotiate a trade deal with Washington ahead of Donald Trump's deadline, there is now a 30% levy on most South African goods entering the US. It's the highest in sub-Saharan Africa, and it includes products that have for years been granted duty-free access to the US under AGOA. So it's things like cars, citrus fruit and wine. President Ramaphosa's office said that he and President Trump, quote, undertook to continue with further engagements, recognising the various trade negotiations the US is currently involved in, and adding that respective trade negotiating teams will take forward more detailed discussions. Now, their call on Wednesday coincided with a meeting between South Africa's Foreign Minister, Ronald Lamola, and the US's top diplomat currently in Pretoria, that's US Chargé d'Affaires David Green. But Pretoria's attempts at tariff negotiations have largely been ignored by the White House until now. Months ago, Pretoria proposed an offer to buy billions of dollars of US liquefied natural gas, as well as investment in some sectors in exchange for a lower tariff rate or sector-specific exemptions. But there was no response from the White House. Relations between the US and South Africa have certainly hit rock bottom since Donald Trump took office for his second term, with the US president repeating false claims of a white genocide in South Africa, also expelling the South African ambassador to the US, criticising South African policies aimed at redressing racial inequality, and of course criticising the country's close ties with nations like Russia and Iran, as well as Pretoria taking legal action against US ally Israel at the International Court of Justice over its war on Gaza. All of those things contributing to this difficult relationship between the two countries. And some analysts say that now these high tariffs, along with the cuts to aid programs made by the Trump administration in Africa, could push South Africa and other countries on the continent closer to China and Russia. And that, of course, is something that the US has previously tried to prevent. Kate Fisher, SABC News, Washington.